Hey yo guys, I'm back here to give you my thoughts on tonight's Battle of East versus West, the biggest boxing fight of 2009, arguably the biggest. I don't know if anything will top it. Maybe at the end of the year we can get Mayweather versus Pacquiao, depending on how things go in Pacquiao's fight. And of course tonight, actually on the pay-per-view, they've promised a big Golden Boy, promised a big announcement, which obviously is Floyd Mayweather versus Marquez, which should be a great fight as well. But anyways, let's get to this fight. As I made mention in my last video, I really wasn't feeling this fight. I was all, you know, I mean, I haven't felt that much build for it. I mean, 24/7 hasn't been that good. Only saw one commercial. It was in the wee hours of the night. But then I saw the weigh-in, and I'm just amped. I mean, if you saw the MGM Grand just for the weigh-in, this thing was packed. I mean, it was just as packed as when frickin' De La Hoya and Trinidad were in there. I mean, this was just awesome. I mean, this is going to be actually a really good fight. It's going to have great crowd reactions as the British fans, they're going to be singing from the first fight of the night on the undercard up until the main event. The Filipino fans, they'll be in there for their main man, Manny Pacquiao. So, how do you look at this fight? Well, I've come up with a couple ways to break the fight down here. The first would be, what advantage does, Ricky Hatton have? To me, obviously, this is going to be a speed versus power, which is, one of the biggest understories, or whatever you want to say, boxing, and this is one of them. So, Hatton's the one with the power. He's really just going to, the way I look at it is ring geography, again, like I like to look at it in a lot of fights. If he stays in the center of the ring, that's not a good thing, because he's going to get, eaten alive out there. But what he wants to do is, muscle Pacquiao against the ropes or near a corner and just go to town. Because I don't know if Pacquiao's speed can get him out of there. I don't think he has good defense and really good defense, but I don't know if it'll be that well. I think, Hatton can keep him there with his punches, as well as, keep muscling him in there. So that's how I see that happening. Plus, I mean, he hits really hard. I mean, he just absolutely, his last fight, he absolutely decimated Paul Malignaggi. So that's where I'm going with there. Now, this flip of the coin there, what does Pacquiao bring that gives him a real advantage? It's the speed. I mean, when you look at every great big fight and every top pound-for-pound fighter in the world, they've always had this one thing, and that was speed. Pacquiao's no exception. I mean, you look, Ali, when he was, in his prime, had the speed. Both Sugar Rays, Sugar Ray Leonard and Sugar Ray Robinson, they had speed. And, Floyd Mayweather, speed. De La Hoya, speed. Everyone had speed in there, and Pacquiao's no exception. I mean, the way he used his hand speed to pick apart De La Hoya, which is something I knew would happen, and I don't know how all the boxing pundits could miss this. They obviously thought we were going to get the De La Hoya that, beat down Chavez back in, 96, and not realizing it was 2008 at the time. Pacquiao's a different breed of fighter. That's how I see it here. I think he's going to want to keep the fight in the ring, in the center of the ring, like I said earlier, and just, use that, because I don't know if Hatton won't be able to get away with that. He doesn't have that great of a defense in there. I mean, when you also go back to the power, I mean, when Hatton took on Mayweather, the referee was all not letting him muscle his way in the rest, so that could be another factor as well. So another thing I decided to bring up, will the fight weight here of 140 pounds, will that affect Manny Pacquiao? And I say no. To me, let's just put it as an example. It's like when you buy a new car and, you've driven for a long time. It may be a little bit different in some aspects, but still, the basics are the same. That's how I'm looking at it. I think Pacquiao, he absolutely looked in great shape. He was 140 pounds, so I'm really looking forward to this. Oh, no, wait, he was 130, never mind, excuse me. He weighed in 130. He made the weight, obviously. It didn't seem like that big of a cut for him. He still looks in great shape. He looks like he's going to have, he has great cardio as it is. So I don't think this is as big a factor as a lot of people are making it up to be. Yeah, he's been bouncing around in weight classes, but still, he's just such a great athlete that I don't think it affects him at all. Yeah, this is, Hatton's weight class where he has never lost, but still, I think this is going to be real good fight there in that aspect. The weight issues really didn't seem to be, you know, bad for anyone. They're both really close in weight. Pacquiao's 139 and Hatton's 140, so that's where I would see this to be. You know, that's where I can just really say it there. Like I may mention, fans, who's going to have the bigger fan support? Well, I say maybe throughout the whole night it'll be the British fans, and you know that'll be huge. But to me, it depends. Round one, the most important round of the fight up until, you know, the fight gets going, and then we need to see what happens. But still, round one, which is always the most important fight, it'll be who can hit the big shot, who can do something to change the momentum. I think the British fans are going to be so loud, and if, you know, Pacquiao, you know, gets a knockdown, or even to the extent where he, you know, really hurts Hatton, you know, gets him wobbly, that is not going to be good for the Ricky Hatton camp. He just, you know, that's going to change the momentum. That's going to quiet the British fans down, and it's going to bring on the Filipino fans who, you know, absolutely love this man, as he's like the biggest ambassador for their country. So I'm really looking forward to that. You know, I think that's going to be a big factor there, but we'll see what happens. It all depends in the first round. I mean, hell, if Hatton does the same thing, you know, a shot that rocks Pacquiao, or if Pacquiao gets knocked down, you know, that's just not going to be good, because like I said, the British fans are going to be into it the whole night, so that's just not going to be good. I mean, the British fans came out in droves. I mean, if you saw the weigh-in, they were just, you know, doing the chanting and singing songs, you know, even before the guys freaking came out, so that's just pretty impressive. So one more, and I guess the one more thing before I get to the final prediction here. Will Hatton moving over to Floyd Mayweather Sr. as the trainer for, you know, this is the first full fight they had, will that be any difference? I really don't think so. I mean, he'll be able to throw more jabs, more different types of punches, but I don't think it will. I still think Hatton likes to, you know, use his power and, you know, just brawl it out, and that's where I think he'll do. I don't think that's just that big of an issue. So anyways, we go to the final prediction, and like I said, it's going to come full circle here. We're going to sum it up. Ring geography. If the majority of the fight takes place in the center of the ring, it's going to be Pacquiao. To me, that's how I look at it. I don't know. I don't think Ricky can be out there in that open water without survivor. But if it's against the ropes or if against the corner, look for Ricky to do some serious damage. I think that could be a real big factor. And overall, my prediction, I think it's going to be Pacquiao by a razor-close decision. I think the fight's going to go either way. I think it's going to, you know, go up and down. I think, you know, part of the fight's going to be in the ring, part of the fight is going to be up against the ropes. I don't expect anyone to blow anyone out. I mean, these are like the top 2 fighters in the world, so this is going to be something to look forward to. Razor-close decision for Pacquiao. And he looks to be taking home, I believe, the IBO and Ring Magazine junior middleweight, or I believe junior middleweight championship belts with him back to the Philippines. So really, that's the predictions on the fight. I'm really looking forward to it. I've done a complete 180 on, you know, interest. I saw the weigh-in, saw the crowd. I mean, anytime you get like a building packed, just to see people step on a scale, that's when you know it's a big deal. And that's exactly what it was here. I mean, when you think back to when this fight was first rumored to have happening, back in like late January, early February, going to happen. I believe it was supposed to happen in April, but then it like fell through. Pacquiao wanted more. They couldn't come to agree on pricing, which is just such a travesty to me in the sport of boxing, where dollars affect more so what the fans want to see. And then finally Pacquiao and his camp decided, you know what, let's just do this. I believe Pacquiao's getting, it's like a 50-40 on money. Pacquiao's obviously making more of it, but I think Ricky just wants to have a real good fight, which we probably will get. So really happy with that. If you're a wrestling fan, there's going to be a bit of pro wrestling in there, as Dave Bautista is going to be sitting with, I believe I can't remember what her position is, but she was in the Thriller in Manila documentary that HBO aired, and she's been talked about a lot going into this fight. I can't remember her name, but he's going to be sitting beside her. It was actually reported yesterday that Bautista would bring out Pacquiao, you know, be one of the people that, you know, bring him out to ringside, but that's not going to happen. That fell through. So really, I'm looking forward to this fight. I guess before I go, I just should make mention for questions if you still want to send them. Obviously, inbox. I need a lot more. I like it to be a broad variety. I know there's a lot of stuff people want to know about pro wrestling, which I really love. Keep sending those. But let's try and get some stuff on boxing, on stuff, rule change, whatever you want, boxing or MMA, same thing. Anyways, before I go, we have to talk about the tournament announced for Dream, the new tournament that they announced for Dream 9, which is either the biggest clusterfuck of a tournament I've ever seen or the most awesome tournament I've ever seen. I don't know. To exact words of it, it's the Super Hulk Grand Prix. Basically, it's an open weight tournament, and it's, to me, mixed martial arts going full circle, where there was no weight classes, no nothing back in the, well, at least back in the early days of the UFC when it was like that. When you look through this tournament, it's really crazy. I mean, it's in Japan. They don't do any steroid testing, they don't check that much. I mean, they have weight classes and all, but it's Japan. They don't check for any of the steroids like I just mentioned. So, they really don't have that much of an MMA commission. So, anyway, when you look at this tournament, you have Gegard Mousasi versus Mark Hunt. Now, Mark Hunt, we all know, is a real badass. He gave Fedor Emelianenko a big run for his money, actually. I would say so. He gave him a tough test because, Mark Hunt has just such a tough head. And he's taking on Gegard Mousasi, who won the Dream middleweight tournament. Now he wanted, a bigger, tougher test, so we've relinquished the middleweight championship, and I believe it'll be defended on Dream 10, or on, I think it's Dream 10, or no, it's actually on Dream 9 as well, where it'll be, it's vacant now, so it'll be Jacques, who lost to Gegard Mousasi versus Jason Mayhem Miller. But anyways, this fight, to me, the talented of the two, I'm going to go with Mousasi, mainly because I think he's just a much more talented fighter. Hunt is just a real tough guy, but I think I would definitely take Mousasi to take it to the ground and just probably sub him. Then we go to Bob Sapp versus Minowaman. Really, this fight, interesting one. I mean, Minowaman, he'll be more, to me, he's going to be remembered for beating the torrent of K1 kickboxer Errol Zimmerman back at the K1 Dynamite show. He just lost on Dream 8 as well. So, let's see where they go with it. I would take Minowaman over Sapp. I mean, we all know Sapp's more so about his entrance and his gimmick. I mean, he's a tough guy and all, but I'm taking Minowaman. Then you got Rameau Thierry Sokoudjou versus Nortje, a guy with a record of 3-5 in MMA, versus, a guy who is presented as the next, a big hope for mixed martial arts when he beat Big Nog's brother, Rogerio Nogueira. Really, to me, I would take Sokoudjou. I mean, Sokoudjou's been on that losing streak in the UFC. Lost to UFC and Affliction. I mean, he lost to Babalu recently, and then he lost to Luis Cane. Then he lost, before that he lost to Lyoto Machida. So, really, he's lost to a bunch of other people in between there. I think he lost to one more between there. But anyways, I would take Sokoudjou. I think Sokoudjou's definitely more talented. Yeah, it's a light heavyweight versus a 340-pound guy who's really a super heavyweight, but taking Sokoudjou. And then the biggest fight that's maybe going to be more hyped over here in North America than over there in Japan. It's Choi Man, the 7'2", 330-pound K1 kickboxer and mixed martial artist as well, versus Jose Canseco. Yes, that Jose Canseco. The Jose Canseco, the Bash brother with Mark McGuire on the Oakland Athletics. The same Jose Canseco who played on the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, the Toronto Blue Jays, the Chicago White Sox, the New York Yankees, the Texas Rangers, and of course I just mentioned the Oakland Athletics. That same guy is going to be fighting a 7'2", 333 fighter, who, by the way, has experience. Now, Canseco has said he has experience, but if you're me, a guy who, by the way, got knocked the fuck out by Vice now in a celebrity boxing match. Now, granted, Sikahema had been to a real legit school, actually was an amateur success boxer, so that maybe I shouldn't, but he really had difficulty beating up Danny Bonaducci, when, you know, you're Jose Canseco, you're a big fucking dude, and you should have just pounded on him. I mean, both you guys had, like, limited boxing experience, so I would have taken Canseco in that. It was a draw. So now he's going over in MMA fighting Choi Man. Now, this is not the same Choi Man who, you know, we all remember from, you know, all those great moments, or great fights, you know, being a real scary dude for his size, you know, ever since he had the cancer surgery and had to, you know, I believe report for the army for his home country. But still, Jose has no experience in this. He's going to get hurt. Clearly gonna get hurt. Now, to me, there's always the wild chance, because this is MMA and it's not the same Choi Man. I still think he's gonna win, probably in the first round. But there's always that chance of Jose connecting and advancing, and I believe he would take on Bob Sapp, which would be even more of, oh my god, if that happened. But still, that's where you look at it. I mean, the way you also have to look at it is, Jose Canseco needs money, so he's gonna these freak show things, and he's absolutely been blacklisted by baseball and any form of baseball that for that matter, so that's how you have to look at it. But anyways, I mean, that Dream Line actually looks like, other than this tournament, which, you know, with Jose Canseco in there, in a way, I'm 50-50 on this, because, you know, I know of people who train in MMA, and you know, there are a lot of tough fighters out there trying to get their name out there, and, you know, Jose, a guy with zero experience, no training at all, is getting big publicity over this, and he's overshadowing them. And it, like I said with Kyle Maynard, it kind of makes the sport look goofy. But then again, this is in Japan, so I guess you can kind of put your spin on that. But then again, the freak show mark in me, I want to fucking see this. I want to see Jose Canseco fight for his living. So that's what I want to say. I mean, the show also looks good. I mean, we continue with the, I believe it's the featherweight, or I believe it's featherweight tournament. Really looking forward to that. I mean, we got Kid Yamamoto fighting on there, as well as Jay-Z. As Jay-Z had a bye due to, I believe, an injury in the fight he was supposed to be in, and of course the Dream gave Kid Yamamoto a bye. But anyways, that's gonna be it for me. I am out. Peace.